So you're thinking about moving to Arizona and you want to get a VA loan from your VA benefits to purchase a home here in Arizona? Well, in this video, we're going to be answering all those burning questions you have about obtaining a VA loan. So the topics that we're going to be discussing regarding you getting a VA loan are, besides the VA benefits, are the different programs that are available to you, the eligibility, the income, your credit scores, and just the ins and outs of the VA loan and the many benefits for you. And if you stay to the very end, we have lots of golden nuggets to pass on to you as well. Not to think that this whole video is going to be full of golden nuggets, but if you stay to the end, there's some really, really great ones. Before we go any further, I just want to say one thing, and it's a huge thing. Thank you very much for everything you have done to keep us all safe and for all your sacrifices for this country. A thank you just doesn't seem good enough, big enough for you with everything you've done. So one more time, I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so now we're going to get going on the VA loans and all the benefits you get from them. If this is your first time to the channel and you'd like to know everything about living in Phoenix, Arizona and the surrounding areas, well, subscribe below and remember to hit the bell, ding, 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 so you can be the first to be notified about anything and everything coming up about Phoenix, Arizona and the surrounding areas. We are here to serve you, support you, and guide you at the highest level possible. So whether you're moving in 9 days, 90 days, 9 months, or even later, call, text, or email us. All our information is below in the description to help you make a smooth move to Arizona. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be talking all things VA loans from your VA benefits. And it's going to be about what kind of programs are available to you, the eligibility, the income, the credit scores, everything about the ins and outs of getting and obtaining a VA loan for you to purchase a home here in Arizona. I am a great believer in when you succeed in anything, whether it's in business or sports or anything in your life, you never succeed on your own. You are always surrounded by people who support you and guide you and are encouraging you. And in my real estate career, I have been surrounded by wonderful people who have done just that. And one of the big pillars in the real estate is a lender. And I have a special guest that I'm bringing on today to discuss all these things about the VA loans. I've known her practically my whole real estate career of 18 years. She's just absolutely phenomenal. I've used her myself. I've referred her to many, many of my clients, and they absolutely love her. She bends over backwards to help you and get you the best deal you possibly can so that you can purchase your house here in Arizona. So here we are with my super duper lender, Pam Baker with OnQ Financial. I know she's sitting right here, and I just gotta tell you, she is just fantastic. And thank you very much, Pam, for being here with us and explaining to all the viewers out there who want to know more about the VA loan process here in Arizona, which is part of their VA benefits.
Thank you for having me, Mary Kay.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure having you. And I can always tell you this right now. If you ever have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below or call, text, or email us. But I will also tell you in advance, I have called her and texted her numerous times, and I have asked her big questions, little questions, and really silly, stupid questions. And she never makes me feel silly and stupid. Well, maybe sometimes silly, but that's okay because we've known each other for so long. But anyway, we're going to get after more of it right now, and here we go. Okay, so let's just start off with Pam explaining what a VA loan is and how it can be used for. So hit it, Pam.
VA loans can be used for veterans. They can be used for surviving spouses, somebody who's either active duty or a reservist. And a VA loan can be used to purchase a home, to buy a home. It can also be used to build a home. And it can also be used to improve or remodel a home. So they can be used any direction, but it has to be an eligible veteran or a surviving spouse that uses and has that eligibility available to them.
Wow, that's great, because you know what? I did not know you could use it to improve a home. I knew you can use it to buy a home, to build a home, but I did not know that you could use it to improve a home, which is really nice. You could be in a home that you actually like and you just want to improve it, and you can actually use your a VA loan to do that. Yes, am I understanding?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow,
and it works great. They have energy efficient loans for veterans. They allow you to do things that need to make the home livable. So, you know, a remodel or a rehab loan would be used for maybe something where a kitchen sink might be missing or a bathroom needs to be reinstalled sink or toilet or anything like that to make it livable.
You know, that's one of the nicest benefits about when you go with a VA loan and you get an inspection and it goes through your underwriting. Correct me if I'm wrong. When you go with VA, they're very, very picky, which is good. I'm so happy that they do this for you because, you know, when certain things are wrong with the home, they make you fix it so that when you go into the home that it's practically near perfect. I mean, with other loans that you can get to buy a home, you can get away with a little bit more, but VA is pretty strict so that when you get a home with a VA loan, you're going to get one in great shape.
And I agree with you, but I'll correct you.
Okay.
The good news is underwriters are more flexible on qualifying, which we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
But you are right. They do want to make sure that that home is safe and sound for that veteran. They want to make sure that there's no electrical issues. There might be no peeling paint that might be that could affect the veteran or anyone living in the property. If there's roof issues, anything like that, they are going to point out, and they're going to make sure that that property is safe for that veteran and his or her family to live in the property.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic of eligibility. What makes somebody eligible, Pam? Can you explain that part for us?
Somebody who's eligible for a VA loan or would be either an active duty serviceman or somebody who's done time in one of the different lines of Army, Navy, Coast Guard. And typically they've got different criteria for each one, and they require that they've maybe done 90 days continual service time or wartime, or if you've become disabled, you now are eligible for that particular benefit for housing. This is slightly different than medical benefits. So keep in mind that the VA may qualify you as a veteran differently based on housing versus medical, but that's something that you can reach out to your local VA office and they'll be able to let you know if you're eligible for any of the housing benefits for mortgages.
Okay, so I know there are lots and lots of different programs that you had discussed with me, and I've already forgotten most of them. And so can you explain to us what are the different programs available for a VA loan and a veteran?
So there are different programs available, one being your basic purchase loan. Mm-hmm. So if you're buying a house, you have VA benefits, you would be able to finance 100%. So we'll talk a little bit about more of that here as we go along. They have a Native American loan. So if you or your spouse are Native American, you actually could have different benefits than the typical traditional VA loan. There's also the construction loan, the renovation loan we talked about or briefly mentioned. And then with refinancing, they offer a couple different options. If you have a VA to a new VA loan, they call that an IRRL, is our acronym we use, and that's interest rate reduction refinance loan. If you are taking a conventional loan and refinancing into a VA loan, that's considered a cash out, even if you're not taking cash out. So there's some criteria that we as a bank are going to look at and talk to you about if this is something that you decide to pursue and look into. You can also take cash out. So if you are a veteran and you have enough equity in your home, you do have the option to refinance as long as you qualify, and you can take some equity out of your home. And there's no restrictions on what it's used for. So if you want to take that equity out and you want to purchase a car, maybe send a child to college with that money, or remodel your home, and use those proceeds to remodel the home without doing the actual renovation loan, that's an option too. It allows you to manage your own construction project, where if you do a renovation loan, we're going to manage the project. We're going to want to hand the money out, and you can't have your friend paint it if your friend is a painter by trade. So it's a little less restrictive if you do it on your own, but cash out is a great option. Typically, you're going to be limited to 90% of the value of your home, and you still always have to have that 10% equity, but you can always get a home equity line off to the side too, just depending on what the terms are with financing currently.
So I have a question for you. You mentioned going from a conventional to VA. Is that sort of like a refinance? I want to refinance my home. I have a conventional, but hey, I think I'm eligible for this and I want to do it with a VA loan. Can they do that? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And the one thing that's interesting is, depending on our markets, and that is something that we look at, we're going to consider whether VA currently is a great option for you or conventional is. There are times we see a conventional borrower who has always had a VA benefit their whole life,
Right.
and decides to go into the VA for whatever reason might make most monetary sense. Or the opposite. Sometimes we have a VA loan that we might refinance into a conventional loan because there's another reason we might want to avoid a funding fee, which we'll talk about that here soon. But there's just reasons we look at it both ways. But yes, either way, that's still called a refinance. It's just our VA guidelines call it a cash out when you're coming off of a conventional loan, even though you're not taking equity out.
Oh, okay. Wow,
So,
that's
interesting.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and it is the different types of property that you can purchase with a VA loan. Now, I know you can do a single family home and a townhome, that they are okay. But Pam, what is the deal with condos? I mean, there's something going on with condos. Can you please enlighten us about the deal with condos and VA loans?
Yes, condos are something that in our finance world, we view condos differently than a townhome. And what I want to kind of say first is just get it straight that there are times it can be called townhomes. Maybe it's called Miracle Street Townhomes, but it's zoned as a condo. Or maybe it's called Miracle Street Condos and it's zoned as a townhome. So zoning is really important. And we want you to come to us to look that up if there's a particular project you're interested in. So always seek me, come to me.
Which I always do.
Yeah, I'm happy to look that up, look it up on the county records and just make sure we're looking at the zoning right. Once we determine whether it's a townhome or a condo,
Right.
You are correct. Townhomes are okay to be financed by VA with no further restrictions.
Okay.
We still verify that they have insurance on their common areas, all of the above. But on a condo, VA has a list, an approval list, where they go through a process and they want to make sure that that condo project is managing their budget well, maybe making sure there's no litigations in the project. They look at different criteria when they approve those projects. The HOA has to go directly to the VA and they submit a package. Once VA approves a condo project, believe it or not, it's technically approved for life.
Wow.
So we don't ever have to go back and have it renewed. There is a site that is open to everybody, but I always ask you to reach out to me. I'm happy to look it up for you. There are times that if you don't look up and do the search correctly, you might get misinformation. But they do have a site, and if you just Google VA approved condos, make sure you go to the va.gov site, and it's not a particular lender site, and it'll take you right in, and you can search by state, you can search Arizona, you can search by zip code, and I think they're all alphabetized on there. But if it says approved with conditions, there might be something that there might be criteria they need, but otherwise, if it says approved, you're good. And you can move forward with making an offer on any property in that project.
Okay, I have a question though.
Yes.
I know on some loans, when you want to buy a condo or a townhome, you have to have a certain amount of home ownership versus renters.
Yes.
Is that is the same for VA loans as well?
So I believe VA looks at that. And I do know they have some concerns with 55 plus communities. I've run into trouble on that before.
Okay.
I'm not sure what their exact criteria is currently, but I know government loans want to have about 50% owner occupied, meaning they don't want too many renters in a project.
Got it.
When you have those renters in a project, the property might not be, or the entire property might not be taken care of as well. So it is important to them that they've got a good amount of primary occupants, which is what you would be as a veteran purchasing a home. So.
Perfect. Okie dokie. So, as you already are aware of, and we're finding out, there are some great benefits using a VA loan, VA financing, and Pam's going to dive into a little bit more on some of them.
So, VA loans, as most of you may know or have heard, the biggest benefit is there is a zero down VA loan. It's 100% financing is offered to veterans. Upon your qualifying, you still have to qualify and make sure you can qualify with that. If there's high risks to your loan, you might have to put 5% down, maybe 10% down to make the numbers work, or take the risk away from us as a bank and VA insuring your loan. But otherwise, 100% financing is a huge benefit to VA. Also, no monthly mortgage insurance. And
what is that? Can you explain that to them?
Yes. So mortgage insurance is a premium that's added to your monthly payment in addition to homeowner's insurance and property taxes, and maybe an HOA if the property has an HOA. Mortgage insurance is a premium that's ensuring you that if you ever default, they're willing to take the home over as a mortgage insurance company and take it off the bank, the risk off the bank. The benefit to a VA loan is there's no monthly mortgage insurance. So what that means to you is your payment most likely could be anywhere from $50 maybe to $500 cheaper than somebody else buying a home that might be going with an FHA insured loan or conventional loan. Conventional loans are privately insured with mortgage insurance, where FHA and our VA loans are going to be government insured. Now, the VA is still insuring you, they're just not charging you a monthly premium. So they have a funding fee, which we'll talk about here soon. So it's still being, there's still a way for them to bring in money into that pool to have an insurance to cover any homes that they do have to take back.
Okay, sounds good. And just FYI for you, if you want any more information regarding VA, and not VA, I'm sorry, FHA and conventional, you can check out our other video we have out on that, and that may be of interest to you as well. And just a little tidbit here, a reminder that if you have any questions for me, for Pam, you're always welcome to leave them in the comments below, or call, text, email us, and we will get back to you with anything. I will also leave a link into Pam for you down below in the description, so you can contact her. Just say, hey Pam, I found you, I saw you on YouTube, and she'll know exactly what you're talking about. So moving on.
Thank you. I always encourage calls, questions, anything we can help answer for you.
All right, so let's talk about money and income. That's always a hot topic, the money and income, and it's a very important topic. And Pam's going to talk about it right now.
So one thing to know about VA loans when you're going to get qualified to purchase a home or refinance is VA is more flexible with your income. They look at different things. There is one thing that VA underwriting looks at that other loan programs do not, and it's your residual income. They want to know how much money do you have left over at the end of the month after you pay your bills and any other expenses you have, whether it's a car payment, credit cards. So there is a chart, and based on what area of the country you live in, whether it's the West, East, Southwest, they have a chart that actually breaks out what that residual income requirement it is by your family size. So if you have 3 children and you're married, you have a household of 5. So they build your residual income based on that. And if you meet that, VA is going to be a lot more flexible with your qualifying than they would be with somebody who either 1, doesn't meet it, which you must meet it, but 2, if you have excessive residual income, they even become more flexible. So they're going to allow you to go higher on your debt ratio because they know you have extra discretional income at the end of the month.
Oh, cool.
So it's a good feature. There are times it can be challenging if we're on tight qualifying income, but it's also times that it's actually a lot more flexible and it works to our benefit, and it works to the veteran's benefit when we're getting you qualified. The other thing is somebody on, what's the word, set income or fixed income. Thank you. I don't know. Okay, so somebody on a fixed income, whether it's Social Security or a pension, maybe a disability income, if it's non-taxable by the government, we can actually gross up your income because you're not having to pay taxes like your average taxpayer. So that's another benefit when we're getting you qualified. So don't think just because you're living on Social Security that you don't qualify for a loan. It's always worth talking to one of us and finding out, what might be your limits or what would be allowable. And then based on the current housing market, you might actually qualify for more than you think you do.
Oh, wow, that's great. Are there other loan products? I know you had mentioned that before. Can you discuss that a little bit more here too as well?
So there are other loan products. If for some reason you as a veteran can't get qualified for your VA loan, or maybe you've had a default in the past or somehow lost your benefits, or maybe you have an existing VA loan and you don't have enough eligibility right now to purchase another VA home, we do have other products. So there are down payment assistance programs that allow you to finance up to 100%. There are USDA loans in rural areas. So depending on what area you're looking to purchase, we might be able to get you 100% financing on a USDA loan. And there's times where we take a veteran and we may even go FHA where they might need a down payment. maybe use down payment assistance for that. So we're always going to look at all those options and make sure that we're qualifying you for the best. Just because I will tell you, VA is the best, one of the best, but there might be something out there just depending on what the market is doing that might benefit you differently. So we're always going to look at those options for you.
And that's one of the nice things, like I said at the very beginning of the video, Pam's going to work very hard to get what's best for you. So she will cover and look under every rock, shake every bush and tree to make sure whatever product out there that she can get for you that would benefit you and your family, she's going to find it for you.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
we will
true.
do that for sure.
All right, so moving on, let's talk about assets.
So another benefit of a VA loan is your traditional VA loan most likely 99% of the time won't require reserves. And reserves are how much money you have left over in the bank, whether it's checking, savings, maybe your retirement account, money market account, stock account. It's what you have left over after you buy your house and you close on your house. So maybe you need closing costs, which I will tell you on a VA loan, it's 100% financing, but you still are going to need closing costs and upfront interest, taxes, and insurance. So reserves are going to be the money you have left over after your portion of that money is needed and applied to your closing. So in many cases, you're not going to need any reserves, which is great because there are times where you're scraping together to purchase your first home and you don't have extra excessive income or assets, sitting around. So those reserves are going to be not required for a VA loan. There may be an exception to that rule. For example, if you're doing a construction VA loan, or possibly your credit score might be on the lower end and the system doesn't like the risk, those reserves may actually help you and benefit you and make your loan stronger and help you qualify. So it's a benefit to have them, but it's not required in many cases.
Wow, that's great. So let's move on. Let's talk about credit scores. Everybody's always saying, well, I won't say everybody, but there are many people that say, I can't buy a home yet because my credit score is not good. It is way too low. Mary Kay, my credit score is in the toilet. Is there anything that can be done? Can I ever be able to purchase a home? And yes, you can with a VA loan, and Pam will enlighten us all on that.
So credit scores, one other true benefit to your VA financing is VA is meant to give every eligible veteran a loan. They want to give you a loan. We want to give you a loan. We as a bank aren't insuring your loan. We do set our interest rates. VA is guaranteeing and ensuring that you as a veteran are an eligible buyer and that they can get you in a home. So anytime you qualify, that is what they want. They want you to be able to purchase a home. You deserve one. You've earned your service, and basically with credit scores, they're going to be more flexible. They understand that you might have been serving duty. You might have missed a cable bill while you were away. We see that often with veterans. So credit scores are going to be a little more flexible. They allow you to go as low as 530 in many cases. So depending on the loan product, your construction loan is going to be more restrictive. So a construction loan might require a 640 credit score. And keep in mind, these can change over time. So there's times that guidelines do tighten up and there's times that they become more flexible. So what is today might change in the future. Other thing with credit is judgments. You can't have a judgment when you're purchasing a home. And the reason is that judgment can go on your title and it can jeopardize us in first lien position, which means we can't take back the home if you default on the mortgage. So judgments are really important that you do take care of those. If you come to me and we get qualified, I'll always let you know if I see something that's out there, whether it's a judgment or a lien, and we want to make sure that you take care of it. So we're going to guide you in what steps to take. Maybe you can settle on a judgment. Maybe you can set up a payment plan, and maybe you can't buy today, but you can buy 6 months from now. So we're going to work with you so that we can get you in a position where you can purchase as soon as possible. Then there's other times where you have a collection. Believe it or not, a collection, you might not need to pay. It might be something where we would say, you know what, that's 3 years old and it's small, don't pay it. We don't want you to not pay your bills. We do want you to maintain good credit, but we also know that that money may be better spent on helping toward the home purchase versus paying an outstanding collection that is old, outdated, and might eventually fall off your credit report. So we're going to look at some of that and analyze it. There are things that need to be taken care of. There are things that don't need to be, but VA is going to be the most flexible with your credit.
Wow, that's great. I'm just so happy when I hear that the minimum score is 530 because in my opinion, and I'm sure in your opinion as well, there is no one more deserving than you that you should be able to get this benefit.
Absolutely.
Everything you've done for us, you deserve it. So if I can make it go lower, I'd make it go lower for you.
Absolutely. It is very rewarding to do VA loans
Yes.
and know you're getting veterans in homes. So thank you for your service.
Okay, let's talk about funding fees. For those who have never bought a home, can you explain exactly what is a funding fee?
So a funding fee, as I briefly mentioned earlier, is a charge that VA does have set amounts set based on criteria, and that money is used to go be pooled in an insurance that they have that available if they have to take back homes and sell them on the secondary, which would be, when you hear of it as a HUD home, that might be something that was a VA home or FHA home that was taken back by the government and then they sell it. In certain markets, we do see higher defaults, and so there might be some of those properties available to you. Those are going to be in your normal area listings. So Mary Kay is going to be able to find you a home, whether it's a HUD home or previously foreclosed, as well as any kind of retail sale or new home purchase. She's going to be able to assist you with that. The funding fee is based on your down payment and whether it's your first use or subsequent use of your VA eligibility. So if it's your first time use, it's a lower premium. If you put 5% down or 10% down, it's actually a lower premium. If you are using your VA for your subsequent use, then it's going to be a higher premium because now you're using it for a second go around. And whether you put 5 or 10% down, actually they'll give you the same premium as if you were using it your first time because you're putting a down payment in. Down payment is not required, so still 100% financing. And they allow you to finance the funding fee. So this is a premium that does not get paid cash out of pocket. You add it to your loan. So if you're buying a $300,000 house and you have for example, a 2.15% funding fee, they calculate that based on the $300,000, add it to your loan, and it's financed. So you as a veteran don't pay it out of pocket. That's great unless you try to sell your house right away, then you're going to owe more. But obviously, typically you're going to stay in that home a few years. You're going to see your average appreciation and it's going to be absorbed and your loan gets paid off if you ever purchase up or refinance in the future. So VA does allow you to finance that. And I would tell you 95% of veterans probably finance that because nobody wants to pay it out of pocket. You do have that option, but you wouldn't want to do that. There's no reason to let that go if you can finance it.
Yeah, it's nice to have the option and you can pick whatever you want to do.
Yes. And one more thing on funding fees.
Yes.
Disabled veterans are exempt from a funding fee.
Great.
So when we order your VA certificate directly from VA, we order that online. We are able to pull that certificate, and that certificate will let us know if a veteran is disabled, even 0.002% disabled determined by VA, you are exempt from their funding fee, which means when you purchase a home or refinance using a VA loan, you do not have to pay a penny of the funding fee that any other veteran would pay. So if you're disabled at any percentage, you're completely 100% exempt from paying our funding fee on mortgages for mortgage purposes.
Well, that's great. Okie dokie. As I promised you at the very beginning that at the end here, we're going to drop some golden nuggets, but I believe that Pam has already offered so many golden nuggets. So this is the golden nugget part of the video that she has for you that I think you're going to really be pleased to hear and listen about, that all is going to be the benefit for you.
So some things to think about are VA loans are not limited to first-time home buyers. There are people that think that. So you can be buying your 10th home in your lifetime and maybe only used your VA twice, maybe never used it. You can use it again. So there's no limitations on first-time home buyers. It is primary residences only. So you do have to live and work within the area of your purchase. Something else to think about, they do look at childcare expenses. So if you have children, we do have to get a childcare letter stating if you have expenses, and that is something that we have to take into consideration with your liabilities. So that's kind of a little hidden nugget that Can break a deal, but hopefully not. You know, hopefully you still qualify with any childcare expenses. If you have a spouse that stays home and watches the children, then we just fill out that letter that there's no expenses. Or maybe your children are older and don't need to go to childcare after school or don't have to go to preschool, then we don't have to worry about that. Arizona, we do need a termite report. Maybe you can talk about that, Mary Kay.
Yeah, Arizona, we do have termites here. Here's the thing that we always say. In Arizona, you're either going to have termites or you already had them. So
sure.
they're here. No matter what you do, they're going to be here. The easiest thing to rectify it is pest control companies can take care of that for you and get a warranty on it, and we just renew it every year. If you ever see them come back, they'll come out and service your home for it. But in Arizona, you either have them or you're going to get them. So don't be alarmed, don't be afraid of them. They're here, they're in the desert. We're in the desert amongst all the other critters here in the desert. And termites is one of the pesky critters that come to like to visit us.
And it's a benefit for a veteran because we require it for our loan purpose. So it protects you in your contract that if there are termites, most likely you'll be able to get, I say most likely, it's not always,
Yeah.
most likely you'll be able to get the seller to cover the expense of treating for them and warranting them. So that's something that Mary Kay is going to work out and ask them to negotiate in your offer.
Yeah, and usually we do. We're able, if a house does have the termites and it needs to be treated, we usually can get the seller to pay for that and also give you a 1-year warranty on that. And then after that, it's up to you if you decide, yeah, I want to continue it, or no, I don't want to continue it, I want to stop it. It's totally up to you what you want to do, but either way, we will get it fixed for you. Well, I want to thank you, Pam, for being here with us today. And I'm sure you thought that she gave you a lot of golden nuggets and lots of great information. She always gives me information. Every time I talk to her, text her, she's always giving me something new to learn and contemplate and help me with my business. But as a lender, she's phenomenal. Reach out to her. She will definitely help you. So thank you very much, Pam, for being here with us and explaining to the viewers about the VA loans with the VA benefits. All our videos are here to help you in every way possible. So again, if you would give us a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Mary Kay Marino. We are here to help you, serve you, and support you at the highest level possible. So whether you're moving in 9 days, 90 days, or 9 months, or even later than that, call, text, email us. Days, nights, and weekends. All our information is below in the description to help you make a smooth move to Arizona. So like I always say, if you've seen my other videos, until I see you around town, show you around town, you have an awesome, incredible day. Bye for now.